Good morning. I am inviting you into my kitchen as I do some of my morning chores that are my habit. I'll be emptying the dishwasher and filling the water filter container thing, doing little piddly things before I get started on the other parts of my day. As I do my chores and make way for the rest of the day to be hopefully peaceful and organized, I wanted to share with you that today is it's that Cyber Monday thing, and this isn't something that I'm gaining from. I'm trying to point you to something that a friend has as a business, and that you would be gaining. Actually, you'd be losing extra weight and gaining by improving your health. So today is the last day on a Cyber Monday special with Marty Kendall of optimizingnutrition.com, and I'm going to put the link to the special in the description box of this video, and I hope and pray that somebody will see this video and take part in this offer. It is going to cost you money, $129, which would be a one-time fee for lifetime access to such good teaching that has helped me in maintaining my weight and having the wellness that I want at 61 years of age. I am almost 4 years into this process of learning from Marty, and the first 5 months of it, I was able to lose menopausal weight gain that I had experienced and was very unhappy about. And then from there on, I just kept learning from him, and I kept making improvements. So I'm going to hope that this video reaches somebody and will be a blessing to somebody. I'll put more info in the box. Basically, my question to you would be this morning: do you know what your waking fasting glucose is? Normally I take mine when I get out of bed, but this morning I'm going to take it on screen to share with you and talk to you about the importance of knowing your morning fasting glucose, not just going once a year for a medical health checkup. And that's something these are things you would learn from connecting with Marty and being in his on his platform that's not on Facebook. I mean, he is on Facebook, but he does most of the work off Facebook in a group, in a platform called Mighty Networks. Anyway, let me put this away and then I'll come back to you in a second. I've moved the camera around so that I can put my silverware away and still be on camera. Morning fasting glucose. So it's a really key number to for you to be able to understand your own metabolic health. And it's one of the things that you can learn to interpret for yourself, that you can take for yourself every day. And something you would learn from Marty. So we're just put away, and the dishwasher is emptied here. Now let me go ahead and fill it. And then in just a second, I'll do that recording of my morning fasting glucose. And I know that it won't mean much to you what my number is, probably not, but I can interpret it for you because I have learned from Marty, and I want you to learn from Marty. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to use this meter as my testing device, but I will also show you what I would recommend that you just go out and get from Walmart and get started today, the day that you watch this video, whenever it is. As a matter of fact, the link that I'm going to put to Marty's Cyber Monday special, if you click on it and it's still active, then he will honor the special. I'm letting you know today is Cyber Monday, and I want you to get attached to Marty's offer. And I'm hoping that he just leaves the link live for a while. Anyway, if it's a live link, he will honor the special, $129 for lifetime access to all of his teaching, all of his lives, all of his classes. It's a deal. It's really a deal. You're going to get to find out my morning fasting glucose the same time I find it out. So I'm going to take one of the end caps off here and get out some testing strips and lay them down. I doubt I'll use all those, but I'm putting the little meter. That's the actual meter for the Dario. It's just tucked into here and clicked away. And then Dario pops up a screen. Dario would like to communicate with the Dario Health, Dario Blood Glucose Monitoring System. Ignore or allow. I'm allowing. And so the screen's going to pop up here, and it tells me to insert a new test strip. So I will do that. And then it tells me place a drop of blood. So I need to get a drop of blood, and I'm going to use the lancing device on my Dario. That's underneath this end cap. The needle is right here. I'll put the cap back on. You can't feel the needle unless you pull back on the clocking device part, this little clicking thing, and you snap that. You do that, and it lets the needle come up just enough to give you a puncture. All right, so I'm putting it on the side of the end of one of my fingers and did the little click, and I draw up a bead of blood, and then I stick it to the end of the test strip, and here we go. We're going to find out what my reading is. 81. So that is my morning fasting glucose. Now, because I've got this Dario, I can blow through test strips. As a matter of fact, I better drop another bead of blood so I don't have to stab myself again. Yes, I'm loving my Dario. I'm telling the world about it. Okay, so I'm going to put another test strip in, and I'm going to take another number, and I'm going to see what that reads. And I'll just compare numbers. 73, all right? Now, this is very common with testing devices. They're not laboratory accurate, and so you could get different numbers with each test. And I don't worry about how many test strips, 79. I don't worry about how many test strips I use because my Dario is an unlimited test strip supply with my subscription, my annual subscription that costs me $200. And see, I haven't had to stab myself multiple times. 79. All right, let's look at those numbers and see what they all are. I didn't keep them in my head. 81, 73, 79, 79. You know what? I got two 79s, so I'm going to go with that. All right, that's pretty darn good for a morning fasting glucose. I need to wipe down my counter. I'm going to put these other two strips back in the chamber and close that up and put the end cap back on. I'm going to pull the meter from my phone and I'm going to stick it back in the Dario, click it down in, and there's my Dario with the word on right side up. Okay, so my morning fasting glucose is 79. When I was testing you could see the picture the testing down on the countertop down there. This box was in the picture. And I wanted to tell you that you can go to Walmart and you can get yourself a kit to test with today, $20. This test kit is the brand that I started with back in 2018. December 5th, 2018 was the first day I took a glucose number to figure out what was going on with my metabolic health, because I'd found Marty Kendall's blog post, how to use a glucose meter as your fuel gauge. And I started learning from that article. And anyway, I went out and I got a meter, a Relion brand meter. And then I bought test strips and I bought, what else did I buy? I bought a lancing device. Well, later on I discovered that Relion was making this all-in-one kit. $20, and you have a meter, and you will get a box, a tube of test strips. There's 50 strips in here, so you can test yourself 50 times. And if you buy more strips, a bottle of test strips, whether you buy a bottle of 50 or you buy 2 bottles, they're 18 cents a test strip. And it has a lancing device. Oh, it also has little lancets in here, the tiny needles that go inside the lancing device. So this all-in-one $20 testing kit box from Walmart will let you test yourself 50 times. And I'll put a link in the description box of a video that I made to show you exactly where to look in the Walmart pharmacy department. 79 is a really healthy morning fasting glucose number. It means that I am probably down to my personal fat threshold or below, and it means that I didn't overfill my glucose stores last night before I went to bed. It means a lot of things, but it's one number for one day, and I can take my number every single day if I want and keep track of what my morning fasting glucose is, instead of once a year having the doctor tell me what the number is, and maybe that number is extra high that day because of what I did the day before. It's not an accurate picture of what my metabolic health is. You get an accurate picture through testing a number of times, through collecting your own data. And I use my glucose number as my personal fuel gauge. Actually, that is a low enough morning fasting glucose number that I probably should go ahead and eat, even though I'm not hungry. It's telling me that my body is ready for some more fuel. And fasting is a whole nother topic that I'm not going to cover on here. Marty does use some fasting with his programs, but he recommends the minimum effective amount of fasting just to get you to where you want to go. Ideally, he likes to have people eat 2 or 3 meals a day. And that's something I'm working towards because I really don't enjoy 2 or 3 meals a day. But I know that I probably should have 2 meals a day. I mostly eat 1 meal a day. But, and I don't go around starving myself. I don't go around hungry. Okay, let's see what else I want to communicate to you. I remember I wanted to tell you that one number, which I think I have said, is not the whole picture. You need to have a collection of numbers that you learn to interpret for yourself. And that's something that Marty will teach you, what your numbers mean. And you'll just learn by virtue of having a bunch of numbers and kind of connecting the dots of, oh, I did this and I got this number, and I did that and I got that number. Recently, I was sick, and I had a glucose of 115, but I hadn't eaten, and it was just because my glucose number was elevated by virtue of the fact I was sick. So you will have higher glucose numbers when you're sick, when you're stressed. It can be happy stress. It can be, oppressive, unhappy, life is miserable stress. Your glucose number will reflect your health and your situation. It's important that you learn how to interpret your glucose values. And so just that one visit a day to the doctor to get your morning fasting glucose or your A1C checked, those are just little tiny pictures at a moment in time. It doesn't tell the whole big picture. I could go on and on and on because I am so grateful for having learned from Marty, as I am grateful for having learned from Serene and Pearl, the Trim Healthy Mama sisters and authors, as I am for having learned years ago from Dr. Mercola, who used to be my physician when he was still practicing. Years ago, I went to him as a patient looking to improve my health because I have a kidney disease, and I wanted to reduce the amount of medication I had to be on. So he put me on a meat and vegetables diet, a meat and non-starchy vegetables diet. Kind of a low-carb diet, basically. Protein and healthy non-starchy vegetables. That was it. I lived that way, or attempted to, for 17 years. Then in 2013, I found Trim Healthy Mama. They were sort of new on the scene, and I learned from them that I wasn't weak-willed. I wasn't falling off the low-carb wagon on regular intervals, having my carb binges. I wasn't weak-willed. It was my body crying out for the energy and the nutrition that the carbs would provide. I needed more nutrition and I needed energy from the carbs. So in 2013, I started living as a Trim Healthy Mama. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed it, and it's a great community. Lots of good recipes that teach about separating fuels. So you have protein and carbs, or you have protein and fats. And you can have sweets because you can use healthy non-sugar sweeteners, not artificial sweeteners. You can use xylitol and erythritol and stevia. And I've brought allulose into my picture now because of tummy troubles that xylitol and erythritol and stevia cause one or more members of our household. So now I use allulose. A link for that will be in the description box too. Anyway, Trim Healthy Mama was great for me, and I was eating every 3 to 4 hours. But when menopause hit, things changed. And I now know that insulin is a huge hormonal factor in our diet and our health and our wellness. And its opposite hormone, glucagon, plays a part. I learned some of that from Trim Healthy Mama, and I've learned much more from Marty. A lot of people think that we're insulin resistant because it just happens to us, but we're actually insulin resistant because we have too much energy that we're keeping held back in our stores. Our insulin starts to rise to hold back our energy that we're not using, but if we learn how to understand our glucose values, then we can learn how to use up that stored energy so that we don't have an energy toxicity situation that is the cause of the insulin resistance. So Marty's teaching has been hugely valuable to me, and I want to point people to him. Just as I share about Trim Healthy Mama, apart from the 3 to 4 hours fueling thing, Trim Healthy Mama wants to help people with healthy glucose, blood sugar values. Marty teaches how to use your glucose values by teaching you how to use a glucose meter and knowing what your numbers mean for you and how to bring them into healthy ranges. A lot of people are walking around and have no clue what their glucose values are, have no clue that they're pre-diabetic until one day at one of those annual physicals, they discover, oh my, I am pre-diabetic. My A1C is high. Marty can teach you how to turn around that situation if you're headed towards type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is not an doable situation. You do not get a diagnosis and then just figure it's all downhill from here. No, you can completely reverse type 2 diabetes because you still have a working pancreas, and you can help your body help your pancreas before it totally gets burned out. It's type 1 diabetes that the pancreas is not able to produce the insulin that your body needs. Type 2 diabetes is actually pumping out insulin because you're not managing your energy stores very well. And so your cells are starting to get tired of hearing the insulin signals. And so you become insulin resistant. But that's reversible. Go find Marty. Go find optimizingnutrition.com. Use the link in the description box of this video. And if it's still active, no matter what time of year it is, use it. Use the link and take advantage of that $129 pricing. So I got to move on and get some other things done today. I'm an elderly college student, and I'm currently in a microbiology set of classes, a lecture and a lab. I'm at the tail end of the semester. I've got a B. I'm hoping to hold on to it, but I won't hold on to it if I don't get on with studying for this last week and a half of quizzes and tests and projects. So anyway, look in the description box. I've loaded it up. And I hope that you will benefit from Marty's teaching as I have, so that you can have a hope for a health span to match your lifespan. It would be terrible to live a long life, but live it kind of confined to a chair, sitting on your couch, because you can't move around and you can't play with your grandkids or whatever. I want to stay active and vibrant as long as possible. And then, when my body is completely worn out and done, have a kind of a quick and expedient death. So anyway, on that note, thank you for your time. And I hope that my time sharing with you has been a blessing.